And I was told we're supposed to read something, and then there'll be a minute of silence, and then I will do an invocation, and then there will be some more music, and then we will introduce Angelica. So I'm going to read this entire book today. Actually, the book that I chose is one that we had to read in our training, a lot of which she said resonated with me, Marcia Sinitar, and the book is called Elegant Choices, Healing Choices. So, and here we go. When we accept ourselves for what we are, we do not blame others for faulty choices. After all, no one is perfect. We are human. The point of all self-development work and the point of this discussion is to help us become more human. This may mean becoming more imperfect, but humanly so, in such a way that we forgive ourselves for our imperfect choices and flawed ways of being. Along with that, we are better able to forgive ourselves. We are better able to forgive others for their mistakes and imperfections. Thus, we love ourselves and others with a higher quality love, a more compassionate love, and even need one another to a greater degree. This is not to suggest we stop trying to improve ourselves, but that we modify our idealized image of ourselves as godlike. Now, a moment of silence.
Still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know.
Knowing that each of us seems imperfect in our external appearance, but also knowing that from within each of us is perfect and as good and wonderful as we need to be, and knowing that each of us is the individual manifestation of the divine and God, and that we all come here for a reason to be closer to each other and closer to that divine spirit, I know that our collective energy comes together to join us with each other and with the infinite and the universal. And I know that opening ourselves up to whatever may come, getting past the resistance and committing to be exactly who we are, singularly and together, is exactly why we are here. And I know that the message that Angelica and the rest of the session will bring to us is the right and perfect message. I release these words with gratitude and joy into the universe, knowing it has already happened. And so it is.
Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know.
And now, our spiritual leader, Angelica Taggart.
Thank you, Scott, and thank you, Jackson. That was perfect. So this morning, let's see, our theme for this month is Pulled by a Vision. And I just love these graphics that Scott comes up with. And they're all, if you were just put all the months out and look at them, they all flow so well. So, pulled by a vision. So today we're going to talk about being committed to a vision. So I know that each one of us has a vision for our lives. We might not consciously think about it a lot, but there is that within us that has this information for us. And what I know is that as we develop our visions for instance, collectively, for this coming year, the rest of this year, for this new life that we're stepping into after being sequestered for so long, that we really have to be committed to the vision once we have it. We have to be committed to it. So there is resistance sometimes. Maybe let's just use some simple individual types of visions. Maybe someone has as a vision being in the right and perfect relationship or the right and perfect job, for instance. And there will be things that as they commit themselves to this vision of being in that will come into our experience that seem to say, no, you won't. It could be for a relationship, for instance, it could be age, it could be weight, it could be finances, it could be whatever. For a job, it could be not having enough experience, perhaps not being up on the latest technology, etc. Something will come in and try to tell us that this is not necessarily where we're supposed to be going. But if it's a true vision, that vision just keeps pulling at you, and it wants you to be committed to it. In our global vision, the CSL Global Vision, we read, we envision humanity awakening to its spiritual magnificence and discovering the creative power of thought. A world where each and every person discovers their own personal power and ability to create an individual life that works within a world that works for everyone. This is a great vision. A grand vision. And yet when you look out at our world today, do you see this happening? The news is constantly telling us, no, it's not. And yet if we look in our particular circles of influence, we'll probably see that it is. That indeed there's that, we're discovering the creative power of thought and how powerful each one of us is in our own lives, and that collectively we can be even more powerful than any negatives that are out there. We're working individually within to create a world that works for everyone. So here's my 3 ideas for this week and this idea. One is, as we're working on this vision, and if you don't think you have a vision already, just close your eyes for a minute and let yourself think, where do I want to be in a year, in 5 years, in 10 years? Think for a moment about our country. What do we want it to be like? Think for a moment of our planet. What do we want that to be like? You can open your eyes. Those things that you just thought of are a vision, part of your vision. So, one of the things that I want you to remember, first and foremost, is principle is never bound by precedent, which means just because it happened before doesn't mean it's going to happen again. We tend to have a feeling that we tend to get stuck in how things were. And with the new visions that we're creating, I mean, for me right now, It's like each one of us, the gates to a magnificent portal are opening. And on this side of the portal is everything we have been. And on that side of the portal is everything we really are. And to me, it's like in the middle, on that, the step that's in the middle between this and that, this is where we have to do our work right now. So we're watching these doors opening. And what we have to remember is just because the Democrats or the Republicans did things this way before doesn't mean that's what it's going to be like in the new world. Just because our husbands or our wives or our significant others did a certain thing that we didn't like, that doesn't mean they're going to do it in the future, in this new world. Just because we did something a certain way in our past, it doesn't mean we're going to do it in the new world, in this new vision. And the great thing is we get to create this new vision as we go along. If I'm walking into my vision and I see something that I have been doing, I suddenly realize what I've been doing, then I can go, wait a minute, that's not the way I want to be. How do I want to be? Okay, this is the way I want to be, so that's what I will be. So principle is never bound by precedent. That's one of the big statements for me in the Science of Mind textbook. My second one is letting go. We are in a process right now of absolutely letting go. We've been in the process for 16 months or so, and maybe we didn't know it, but we're really letting go of everything that is unlike the truth of our being. And you know what the truth of your being is? You should know, we talk about it every week. It's God, right? The truth of this being is God. The truth of you is God. The truth of the air that you're breathing and the building that we're in and everything, it's all God. So we're dropping away, we're letting go of anything that's telling us any different than that. And we're really going to start experiencing ourselves and all the power and all the light and all the joy that comes with the awareness, the conscious awareness that who we really are as the divine presence. And my third one is true transformation renders the previous version wholly unrecognizable. Now, some of you know that I've been writing a memoir and going through, oh my God, so much stuff because of doing this work. And what I know is that little girl, I'm not that person anymore. And it's not even, it's some of the things that I did in my past, I don't even understand them anymore. They're becoming wholly unrecognizable because I'm working on a path of transformation. One of the other things about the path of transformation is you begin to live in the now moment. The now moment is the most important moment because it's really the only moment we have. I mean, and that sentence was just said in the past. So every step you take is in the now moment. Every thought you think is in the now moment. Everything is in the now moment, and the now is where we really experience the truth of our being, where we really begin to understand that we're so much more than we thought we were. So much more. Louise Mucha, who's been attending on Zoom, and I'm hoping we can get back to that soon. In fact, this week, by the way, Suddenlink is putting in the good internet, so we're going to be able to go back online again. I thought this was so beautiful when she read it to us. Your new life is going to cost you your old one. Doesn't that make you kind of go, right? It's going to cost you your comfort zones. It's going to cost you your sense of direction. It's going to cost you relationships and friends. It's going to cost you being liked and understood, but it doesn't matter. Because the people who are meant for you are going to meet you on the other side as we walk through that portal. And you're going to build a new comfort zone around the things that actually move you forward. And instead of liked, you're going to be loved. Instead of understood, you're going to be seen. All you're going to lose is what was built for a person you no longer are. Let it go. Isn't that a powerful piece of writing? I mean, wow. I'll add it to Monday's email so that you can read it again. But this whole idea of, when I read that it's going to cost you relationship and friends, I remember when I first got into religious science, I had been working for a company for quite a few years, and, during break time, we'd all go in there and go, talk about different people in the company and, just gossip and do all the things that unenlightened people tend to do. And once I got into this tradition, I couldn't handle it anymore. It was like really strange. It felt weird. And so I decided that I would be the one that would change it. So somebody would say, oh, did you see so-and-so in that dress she had on? My God, that's so old. And I would say, yeah, but did you see her hair? It was really pretty today. So I would constantly change. And finally they told me that I was in a cult. I had no right being that positive or that happy. But our new life, I really want you to understand this, our new life is costing you your old one. And we've had quite a few months of letting go of a lot of stuff. Letting go of the old way of doing things. Letting go of the old friends that we used to meet with all the time. Letting go of the things around the neighborhood that we used to do regularly. Even though some of those are coming back, which I'm glad. So what we want to do is realize, allow yourself to set aside a part of your mind to remind you of the things that need to be let go of. And how do you let go? When you stop focusing on it. We focus on things where something will come into our minds and we'll just get this niggling feeling. And I know when I'm doing it, I can feel my jaws get tight, my butt muscles get tight. It's just, right? And then I go, oh, wait a minute, got to let go of that one. And I let go by taking a few deep breaths. By allowing myself just to breathe really deeply into it and just being consciously aware that as I exhale, I'm letting it go. And I'm letting the universe transform that energy into something else. So Ghost says, until one is committed, there is a hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. The moment one definitely commits oneself, the providence moves too. It's like we have to take 2 steps forward, and then the universe rushes in. Maybe it's not 2, maybe it's only 1. Maybe it's only the idea of 1. I want you for the next while, maybe the next month, allow yourself to start seeing how easily you manifest things. How easily the universe gives you love notes. That's what I decided to call them. When things just happen. You didn't even ask for it, and things just happen. Money in the mail, or a great compliment, or, somebody takes you to lunch or dinner or whatever. Think of those as love notes, and think of them as the universe giving them to you because you made a commitment. And the commitment is, first and foremost, to know the truth of your being. So here's a spiritual practice that I'm going to give you for this month. For 30 days, in your morning spiritual practice, and I know you guys have one, right? This means yes. For 30 days in your morning spiritual practice, ask your inner self, what do you want to express as me today? Do you know, a memory just popped into my mind of Reverend Helen Street, my teacher, talking to us about being at a conference, and Dr. Raymond Charles Barker got out of the elevator. And she was enamored with Dr. Raymond Charles Barker. For those of you that don't know him, he wrote some wonderful books in Religious Science International before we came together. He was considered like one of the popes of religious science, just an amazing man. And she started talking to him a little bit, introducing herself, etc. And she asked him, if there was one thing that I could do to really move myself forward on this path, what would it be? And he said, do what God puts in front of you moment by moment. Do what God puts in front of you moment by moment. Let's say you're at Starbucks or doing something and there's someone who needs something. Give it to them. If you've noticed it, it's your job. It's for you to do. Anyway, ask your inner self, what do you want to express as me today? And you write down the first thought that comes to you and you focus on being that all day. At the end of the day, journal about all the ways God expressed itself as you throughout your day. I want you guys to have physical proof of the truth of who you are. And this can help. If you don't already have a journal practice, this would be a good way to do it. In the morning, ask that question, write down what you get as an answer. And then at night, look at that question again and reflect on the day and how did that show up in your life that day. So let's say this affirmation together, and then we'll treat. Today I open my mind and heart to allow Spirit's greater vision for my life to take form. I am filled with peace, trust, and the gentle knowing that all is God and all is good. And we thank Susan for writing the affirmations for this month. How grateful I am to be able to acknowledge that there is only the one life. One heart, one mind, one being, one expression. How grateful I am to remember that this is me, this is who I am, this one life. An individualized expression of the one life. How wonderful it is to remember that everything I look at, everything I hear, everything I touch or taste or smell, it is all this expression, the expression of the one life. And I declare that I'm even grateful for this past time that we've had to get ready to move through this portal. And I see us right now standing in the very center of it, letting go of everything before, allowing ourselves to breathe deeply and step into our future, step into the vision, the higher vision of knowing who we really are, knowing who everyone really is. And I know that as we step into our future, this vision that we're committed to, that everything that we need for that vision is provided easily and effortlessly. And I know that each one of us is supporting each other in stepping into this greater vision, moving through the portal. We are pulled by a vision. We are committed to our individualization of that vision. And we allow ourselves to know that the whole universe is shouting, "Yes, my darling," and loving us and blessing us and acknowledging us and seeing us. Not that it's separate, because there's only the one. But that one loves us so much. And I know that we allow ourselves to feel it. We have let go of all the pain, all the resentment, all the agonies of the past. And we've stepped through into this new vision. And it is good. It is God. And so I celebrate each of us, knowing that in some way we've received exactly what we need to receive for this next week of our spiritual adventure. I know that we're ready to ask God, what would you have me be? And we're ready to do what is in front of us, knowing that it's ours to do. And so with a grateful heart, I release these words into divine law, knowing that the law says yes. It's all good. It's all God. And so it is. And now we have a treat. We're going to have a wonderful experience of music. Thank you very much.
Donna and Edward and any other blues enthusiasts, would you please lead us in enthusiasm when the time is right? Okay, so, what is the last stage of treatment? We just had one a few minutes ago. It is?
Release.
Release. How many people think blues is depressing? No. Blues helps us release our troubles, makes us feel great. So we have two members of the court council in the band here. It's a state requirement now. George Jackson, and we're going to do the